Yo, what's good YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the Pokemon Battle Federation, and we've got something a little bit different. First time this season I'm picking up a live battle, and I don't know if I'll do this, maybe till playoffs again. But for a good reason this week, I've got OP Dragonite versus KKirby, otherwise known as Sebby versus Kirby, where we have the Montreal Monfernos, coached by Sebby, or OP Dragonite, taking on the Albany Altarias, coached by KKirby. Kirby's been very creative with his squad this season. He's been doing very well. He's sitting at a 6-0 record right now, and he is second place in the league to none other than Sebby himself, who is also sporting a 6-0 or 6-0 record. But his differential is just a little bit higher, and he's been sporting some really nice Trick Room teams. And in this matchup, we've got Landorus, Therian, Reuniclus, Greninja, Bronzong, Mega Camerupt, Azu, Superior, Xurkitree, Dragalge, and Diancie, taking on the Mew, Megalopunny, Weavile, Scizor, Sylveon, Porygon 2, Rotom, Mow, Seismitoad, Garbodor, Oricorio, and the Flygon. And as you can see on screen, Sebby's decided to bring Landorus, Therian, Greninja, Reuniclus, Diancie, Mega Camerupt, and Azumarill. And Kirby's brought his Porygon 2, Scizor, Mew, Seismitoad, Sylveon, and the Flygon. So no Mega Lopunny, no Weavile from Kirby on his squad. No Oricorio, which is surprising since Kirby is the one who introduced me to Oricorio. And for Sebby, I see no Bronzong, but he still has Trick Room options in Reuniclus and regular Diancie. And then having, things like Azu and Camel abuse that. But can obviously function outside of that as well with things like Landorus and Greninja. I actually do have Sebby's team. We'll talk about it just a little bit. I don't have Kirby's team, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Everything he does will be a surprise to me. But yeah, we have we have Sebby's team here, and he has a Landorus Therian, which is a Ground EMZ for Tectonic Rage, and Earthquake, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Swords Dance. So a really nice set there. Looks to be a very powerful breaker to just rip through Kirby's defenses, things like that. He's also got Specs Greninja with Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and Water Shuriken, which looks really nice. He didn't bring a water immunity or resistance unless Seismitoad is said immune with Water Absorb. And then he's got a Trick Room Reuniclus with the Cobra Berry, Psychic, Hidden Power Fire, and Recover, which is a really nice set there. And to complement that, he also has Diancie with the Mental Herb, with Trick Room, Stealth Rocks, Toxic, and Mono Fairy Moonblast. So that's nice. Banded Azu with Liquidation, Play Rough, Aqua Jet, and Knockoff. And then the Mega Camerupt has the Fire Blast, Earth Power, Hidden Power Ice, and the Toxic. So the match has begun here. Kirby leads off with the Mew, and Sebby leads off with the Diancie, and this is perfect. Sebby's prep comes in terrific here. You get the Mental Herb, and now he guarantees himself rocks. He could also poison him here, but with the Synchronize, I don't see that happening. Kirby, that's a nice play there as well, taunting a lead Diancie, or Reuniclus, or Landorus, or Mega Camerupt at that. But yeah, the Mental Herb coming in clutch there for Sebby and his Diancie. Now he can freely get his rocks up, but he decides to go for the poison on the first turn, and may not actually Toxic this turn. Yeah, he does not. Or, excuse me, doesn't get up rocks this turn. But he'll be able to, he not only lands the poison, but he can get rocks up on the following turn as well, which is really nice. And probably lives any one hit from the Mew. I forgot the EVs exactly. I didn't write the EVs down. But Sebby's known for his bulky squads. So we'll see what happens here. I think the play is to go ahead and get rocks up despite a Mew sitting in front of you like this. Because what you can do on the following turn, granted you live one hit, is click Moonblast, and then the toxic damage will be on its second round of toxic damage, and then you can bring in your Banded Azu and click Knockoff basically, and either claim the Mew's life or get rid of something's item and then switch accordingly from there. It really depends on how Sebby wants to go about this. I do think rocks is his play, and I think for Kirby, he could go for, I don't know if we saw a Z move. Yeah, here it is. I meant leftovers. I don't know if we saw leftovers, and we didn't. So there's the Z move. I knew this was a Z move option. Also, Landorus is a Z move option, and I think his other Z move option is what is his other Z move option for Sebby? It's on the bench, and it was the Hell, I guess I don't have it written down. But for Kirby, it's Mew and Oricorio. Obviously, Mew being the only one eligible in this match. And yeah, so Toxic will build up. Toxic will build up on Kirby here. He may want to switch depending on what Sebby goes into here. Sebby don't really have an option except to go into the Azu, in my opinion. I think you have to go in and click the banded knockoff here. It knocks out the Mew. It gets rid of an item. It just depends, you know, what's going to happen here. He actually goes for the play rough, and that was really risky in my opinion because I think knockoff was a fine play. However, I guess play rough, you know, forces in Scizor here. I do think that was risky, though. I wouldn't have risked the miss when I had a choice banded knockoff. But at the same time, I guess you don't want to give away your set entirely. And knockoff could come into play later for the Porygon 2. Getting rid of its item could be very, very crucial. Once Sylveon goes down, and if Porygon 2 gets its item knocked off, Specs Greninja looks really nice with Dark Pulse spam. That looks really nice. How can Kirby win, though? I don't think Dragon Dance Flygon is a set in this matchup, with things like Landorus Therian, a potential Scarf Greninja, and Trick Room in general. It's tough to say here. I guess Scizor could be an option too, like Swords Dance Scizor could be a win con. Like, obviously he would need to weaken the Camelrupt, but that's an option. Kirby also ran Seismitoad, Rain Dance variant versus me, offensive Rain Dance. I'm not sure if it was Life Orb or not, but it was very powerful, that's for sure. So this could be another variant like that. You just never know with Kirby. His prep is very, very creative. Big fan of his, I don't want to say his playstyle, but, you know, his prep and creative genius, sort of. Very fun to watch. Sebby, same for Sebby, though. I love watching Sebby play. I've known Sebby for a couple years now. He's a very good friend of mine. And me and Kirby are just now actually becoming, you know, closer friends. Things like that. Joining the NNDL with him, and him joining the PBF and the IDM with me. So that's really fun there. Anyways, Kirby finally brings in his Pokemon, and it is the Scizor. I kind of expected Scizor to come in here. It was forced in. I think that's the reason Sebby clicked Play Rough, was to force in Scizor, as knockoff would have let in, you know, other things such as Sylveon. And Sebby doesn't have the best switch in to, like, Hyper Voice or anything like that. I know Camel could eat, but Camel doesn't want to take that and then try to be a Scizor check or something like that in the late game. So Scizor just goes for the defog here, just gets rid of the rocks there. I think Diancie was his only rocker in this matchup. I think Camelrupt has, Fire Blast, Earth Power, Toxic, and Hidden Power Ice for the Flygon. Like a Spadef Flygon could have been a check too. Camelrupt, I suppose. I think Fire Blast probably 2-hit KOs. But yeah, Sebby gets his Landorus in here, and he's free to click Swords Dance if he wants. He doesn't. He just clicks Knockoff, which is a fair play. I guess this Porygon 2 coming in could have had Ice Beam and just, you know, Swords Dancing up, and Tectonic Rage not being able to knock out with the Eviolite intact. It makes sense to me. So that's another tough situation for Kirby, though. Losing his Eviolite on the Porygon 2 puts him at a little bit of a disadvantage there. We'll see what happens here, though. Sebby's got U-turn on this thing, so he could just U-turn out. I don't expect him to stay in and attack or anything like that. This Porygon 2 could very well live any Landorus attack, potentially. It could just drop, but it could very well live as well, and fire off a very powerful Ice Beam, and I don't think the play is to stay in here. Probably the best play is maybe going to Mega Camelrupt on a predicted Ice Beam, or potentially even like a Thunder Wave, you know, predicting to switch out into something like Azu or Greninja or something like that. Porygon 2 could go for the Thunder Wave, so that's something too. It'd be interesting to see what happens here. Landorus Therian is actually the knockout king right now. Well, in terms of, I guess, knockout faint ratio, it's leading the league, so that's pretty nice. Mew is up there as well. definitely up there as well. It was really hot for this game. 6-0 versus 6-0. Can't get any better than that. This is the PBF featured match of the week for week number 7. Really hot. Really hot. So let's see what's going to happen here. He's going to U-turn out, but what's he going to go into? These players both are taking their time making their plays. Neither one of them wants to make a game costly mistake at this point. Both are in positions to where they can limit their opponent's ways to victory. I guess if I had to just look at the mons left and think of who would be winning, I see it's really hard for Kirby without Mew at this point. In my opinion, it's going to be really hard for the Mew, or for Kirby to win without the Mew. And he does go for the Ice Beam here. No freeze on the Reuniclus. That's really nice to see. I hate seeing freezes or paras off Ice Beams and Thunderbolts. And Scald Burns are perfectly fine. Discharge paras, perfectly fine. Thunderbolt paras suck ass. Ice Beam freezes suck ass. Flamethrower burns suck ass. So on and so forth. Sacred Fire burns I can deal with. Scald Burns, Discharge Paras, all that I can deal with. Goes for the Hidden Power Fire upon switch in and catches the Scizor. Very nice play there by Sebby. Expecting the Scizor to come in. Popping the Occa Berry, which I believe Kirby has ran on all of his Scizor this season. I believe they've all been Occa Berry. Pretty sure. Now it comes down to, like, what does Scizor go for? What is Scizor's moveset here? I don't think you risk U-turn here. So Kirby's play is to easily just click U-turn. Reuniclus, it did reveal, Scizor did reveal Defog earlier, so it could very well be a more defensive, less offensive variant, and this Reuniclus could possibly eat it up and then throw off a powerful, another Hidden Power Fire. Scizor could also go for Roost here, predicting the switch out, and it might be his play. No, he just U-turns out. I think that was the best play as well. I think that was the best play. And now he has the option to go back into the Eviolite, the Porygon 2 and throw off an Ice Beam. But he actually chooses to bring in his Seismitoad. So in comes the Seismitoad here. Landers could take this as an opportunity to get rid of, a water check for, Greninja. Yeah, he could take this opportunity to go for his Ground EMZ here, get the Tectonic Rage off, see how much damage it does, put it in Dark Pulse range, and then knock it out with Greninja. Greninja would then have no reason to not click Hydro Pump the rest of the game, and Specs Hydro Pump looks to rip through this squad at this point. Unless Sylveon's like heavily Spadef invested or something like that. I don't think a Fizdef Sylveon takes on a Specs Greninja at this point. I don't think so, especially if it gets torrent boosted Hydro Pumps off. That'd be really scary for some teams to deal with, especially if Seismitoad goes down. But this U-turn does quite a bit. This could very well be some Rain Dance shenanigans here. He did run Rain Dance shenanigans versus me, and he goes for the Hydro Pump and gets a critical hit there. A bit unfortunate for Sebby, but I can't really tell from that damage if it was a 2-hit KO. Obviously, I don't have my calcs up. I don't know the Seismitoad set. But that did quite a bit of damage. What was it, 68%? So without a crit, it would have probably did 40 or so. It might have been a roll to 2-hit KO. That's a little bit unfortunate, though. Kind of loses all of his Trick Room shenanigans at this point for Sebby. Unless he misses like a Hydro. I don't think Hydro's the play here, though. I think Earth Power's the play unless your choice locked in which then Hydro is the play. Or hard switching on the recover back into Scizor. That could be something. And then you get this endless cycle of the Landers coming in on the Scizor, and then the Seismitoad U-turning out, the Scizor U-turning out into Seismitoad, and then something else has to come in and take the Hydro Pump. So probably not worth it here to try any kind of like saving Reuniclus. I guess the play is to just recover and hope your opponent switches or misses Hydro if he's locked or something like that. Like I said, I don't know if he's locked in because I don't know the damage out, the damage output there, the calcs off the top of my head. So let's see what's going to happen here. Seismitoad should 100% outspeed this Reuniclus. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Yeah, he does just go for the Earth Power. So he's not choice locked. Does just go for the Earth Power there. Knocks out the Reuniclus, and we are down to a 5-4, where it's actually in Kirby's advantage now. Semi-advantage, I would say. As Greninja looks very, very threatening still. From that U-turn damage, I do think the Tectonic Rage would knock this thing out. I do believe it would knock this thing out. He could also go into his Greninja and start firing off Specs Dark Pulse, which kind of invites in Sylveon, which allows you to get in your Mega Camera up and start firing off some powerful attacks as well. Be interested to see what happens here. So I feel like a lot has happened in 11 turns. Wow, this has been fantastic. I feel like a sports commentator. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I love Pokemon. I love watching these battles, competitive draft leagues. The concept of drafting Pokemon and having a team of, you know, anywhere between 8 and 12. I think 12 is entirely too much. I'm starting to believe 11 is too much. I think 10 is a really solid number. I do like speed drafts though, with things like 8 mons. It's really nice. So Azu eats up the Sludge Wave and knocks out the Seismitoad with Play Rough, and this puts Greninja in a fantastic position, and again forces in the Scizor. Sylveon drops to a Play Rough, and I don't know if it can knock out Azu from this range. Same thing for Dragonite. I don't believe it can knock out Azu from this range. So he's kind of forced into the Scizor again. Scizor can actually knock this thing out, probably. Well, actually, the way it's revealed, Defog and Akaberry, it's probably more defensive. So Scizor probably can't knock out the Azu from this range with a neutral Bullet Punch. Now, if it were offensive, it would have a lot better chance to, you know, get that roll, get that knockout there. Also, it invites in the Camerupt. Also invites in the Greninja. I could see some very nasty things happening in this matchup, like Greninja missing a Hydro Pump versus the Scizor, and the Scizor knocking it out with a U-turn. That would be just disgusting. But really, Greninja looks to be the key to winning here for Sebby. Especially if the Sylveon is weakened or dropped to the point where it can't take, you know, a Dark Pulse into Dark Pulse. If it were a switch in, and then, you know, if it were, you know, sack something, then bring in Sylveon, if it was in range of Dark Pulse, then I could definitely see Greninja still putting in the work and being able to lock itself into Dark Pulse and finish up the game. But like I said, no more Trick Room shenanigans from Sebby. I am very curious to see the rest of Kirby's prep, though. This is getting very, very interesting, especially now that we're back at the 4-4 at turn 12. So a little bit quick paced here. You know, I've seen battles get to turn 30 without a kill. I've also seen, you know, battles get to turn 15 and it be 2-2. So it just depends on the battle, depends on the nature of the squads, things like that. And this matchup's no different. So I'm going to make a bet here that Kirby brings in his Scizor once again. He's thinking about it entirely too long, but I feel like he's going to go right back into his Scizor. No reason not to. Everything else is going to take severe punishment unless it does get the knockout. Perhaps if it was like Adamant, Choice Band, Flygon, it can knock out with Earthquake. He does bring in the Scizor here, so this kind of invites in Camerupt. It could also invite in Landorus Therian, though. I don't see Greninja hard switching in, and I don't see Azu staying in and clicking Play Rough here, especially with Banded Aqua Jet in the back. That's just such a good cleanup. If Greninja fails to do its job, Choice Banded Aqua Jet still does it, you know, like I'm saying. The water type moves in this matchup are severely, you know, crippling Kirby at this point. He does just U-turn out once again. And I think this is the point where Sebby may go for his Z move here. Oh, he actually gets an Intimidate, so yeah, no, Sebby's not going to stay in here. No, that would be dumb. He's just going to U-turn out, probably go back into, or excuse me, bring out Camerupt for the first time, yeah. Here it comes as the Porygon 2 goes for the recover there. And he's going to stay in here. And he's got the hidden power water, so that's really nice. And the camera up gets the toxic off on the P2. So that's really nice too. I think this is a tough call, but I think camera up needs to stay in here and click Fire Blast. I expect something other than hidden power water to come out at this point. It's shown recover, ice beam, hidden power water, and more than likely has something to hit Azu and Greninja, maybe Thunderbolt, because right now those two, or Discharge even, but those two Pokemon are resisting both ice beam and hidden power water. So it does go out to Greninja here on the hidden power water, takes negligible damage there. I don't see Sebby staying in here and clicking Dark Pulse. He could click Hydro Pump here, but I think it's risky. Like, if his last move is Discharge, you could potentially lose your win con here, which would be really, really unfortunate for Sebby. Fortunate for Kirby, unfortunate for Sebby. But yeah, let's see what's going to happen here. He could Scout for it. He could double out into Camera Up. Man, this is tough. Yeah, he does double out until the Lander is scouting for the Discharge or the Thunderbolt. Alright, so Landorus in versus the Sylveon. He could take this as an opportunity to click the Z ground right here for the Tectonic Rage and put this thing in Dark Pulse or Hydro Pump range for Greninja, and then Greninja could potentially sweep at this point, especially with Azu in the back to help clean up with Banded Aqua Jet or something. So let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to happen here. He does go for the Swords Dance, and this Sylveon goes for the Hyper Voice, and it does only 37%, I believe. And now Landers can knock this bad boy out with probably an Earthquake, guaranteed with Tectonic Rage. Do you risk Flygon here? Do you risk go hard into Flygon and have something like Hidden Power Ice or like Draco Meteor or something like that to catch the Lander off guard or something, potentially? Or, you know, something dies to Earthquake or Tectonic Rage or something. Or Flying EMZ. So, I guess he's revealed Swords Dance, he's revealed Knockoff, he's revealed U-Turn. He hasn't revealed Earthquake, I don't believe. So, I guess Kirby doesn't know if he's Earthquake or Fly at this point. But the Ground EMZ sounds a whole lot, you know, looks a whole lot better. And yeah, he goes for the Earthquake there. Doesn't get the roll. I don't know if that was a roll or what, but Sylveon able to live and also not able to knock out the Landers. So Landers looking like it's going to pick up a kill here. Probably just go for the Knockoff. I believe Knockoff is the play, as it would knock out the Sylveon. It would also knock off or potentially knock out Flygon, depending on its set. And he does go into the Flygon, so that's interesting. What's the play? I think you have to knock off here, because if you allow this thing to Dragon Dance on a switch, then it could be very scary. Dragon Dance Flygon could clean up here, so I think the play is to knock off and get as much damage off as possible, then bring in Azu for the Aqua Jet kill. There's no way that Flygon takes a +2 knockoff into a Aqua Jet. There's just no way. There's just no fucking way. So I guess Greninja comes in here and clicks Ice Beam for the guaranteed kill. I don't think you go into Azu or going into Camera Up just dies. You know, Camera Up dies to Earthquake at this range. So I guess it really comes down to P2 set. Ice Beam's gonna knock out this Flygon. It won't 2-hit KO Porygon 2 or Scizor at the range they're at, so that's not too big of an issue for either player here. This has been a nice, well, we're around 25 minutes now. Nice little battle going on here. 22 turns. Oh, he goes for the hydro pump. Woo! Goes for the hydro pump and gets the knockout there. Specs hydro pump runs through the Flygon. I believe it will knock out the Scizor at this range, and then it will definitely 2-hit KO Porygon 2. Oh, that's scary though. It's just scary to attack Porygon 2 live, knock out the Greninja, and then Scizor have something like Hidden Power Water and Bullet Punch as its last 2 moves. Could you imagine that? And being able to knock out the Mega Camera up with HP Water, and then being able to get a roll on Azu with the Bullet Punch or something. That would just be insane to me. I don't know if Porygon 2 is in range of a Specs Hydro Pump. If he goes for something like Thunderbolt and Discharge and doesn't get the knockout and doesn't get a para, then Greninja in Torrent range will definitely knock out Porygon 2. It's just be interesting to see here. What he has revealed: what Recover, Ice Beam, and Hidden Power Water on Porygon, and on Scizor he's revealed Defog and U-Turn. It'll be interesting to see how these two fellas go about the end game here. I do think Greninja's got it on lock, bar misses and bar hacks, depending on the Porygon 2's last move. Moment of truth coming up. Let's go, Kirby. What you gonna bring out? Sebby, how you gonna play this end game? You gonna click Hydro here all the way through? You're gonna click Hydro here all the way through and rely on your boy Scotty, the Ninja Greninja, the Frog Ninja Greninja. That's what's gonna happen. I'm really excited to see if these Hydro Pumps, or if Hydro Pump knocks out Porygon without its Eviolite. It depends on its investment, really. It could potentially still live if it's very Spadef invested. However, if it's only like max HP with no Spadef investment. Also, it could be a counter. Well, not really. It's a little bit too fast to be a counteract to Sebby's, trick room shenanigans, I suppose, is what I'm trying to spit out there. All right, Kirby, come on now. Alright, so Kirby finally brings in his Porygon 2. I actually paused there for a sec. Kirby finally brings in his Porygon 2. Literally moments after I paused. And here we are back. And I don't know if Sebby's going to risk Hydro Pump yet. Maybe let the Toxic build up a little bit more on the Porygon. And then bring this bad boy back in to spam Dark Pulse, instead of risking Hydro Pump at this point. Obviously, if you land your Hydro Pumps and then Hydro Pump knocks out the Porygon 2, then this could definitely be a 3-0. It'd be a lot better for Sebby. But Sebby's leading the league right now anyway. A win just, puts the cherry on the top, really. So he doesn't need to preserve differential or anything like that. Sacking off Azu at this point could be fine. Sacking off Camera Up at the same time could be fine as well, because Specs Dark Pulse looks to really do a lot of damage once this Porygon 2 is weakened a little bit more. With the Toxic buildup, I believe what you could do is go out into Camera Up right now, sack it off to whatever happens, bring in Azu and start spamming Liquidation. And at that point, if Porygon starts recovering or switches out to Scizor, brings back in the Porygon, Scizor is going to drop to Abandoned Liquidation as well. So then Porygon 2 would have no way to switch out and preserve health versus the Toxic and these 3 mons. It's very tough to see Kirby winning this, but I never doubt mons, especially a Porygon 2. Especially a Porygon 2. There's just some mons you never underestimate, and you have to be as safe as possible versus. He goes for the Hydro here. And that, in conjunction with the Toxic, knocks out the Porygon 2. See, I knew it would have a coverage, and now it depends if this Scizor can knock out with BP. I don't think it can. I definitely don't think it can. Lives on fucking 1, and lands the Hydro Pump. 3rd one in a row, and that's going to be good game. Damn, that's going to be a good game. But this is a fucking long video, though. This is over 30 minutes, so I'm not going to have too much to say here at the end. We have 1 undefeated team left in the Pokemon Battle Federation, season number 9, week number 7, and we've got the 7-0 Montreal Infernos coming out on top here, where Kirby receives his first loss, now sitting at 6-1. Good game to both players, and Greninja coming through there. I like to see that name there on the screen. Oh boy. Anyways, that's going to be a good game. Let me know what you guys thought about the prep and the plays on both sides of the field. Leave a like for these 2 fine gentlemen, these fantastic battlers, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.